Welcome to Wedding BFF. My name is Kate Schmidt and I am your host. As a self-taught wedding planner and owner and chief planner for Celebrate by Kait, I am passionate about creating wedding days that are memorable and tangibly feel like the couple that is being celebrated. On this podcast, you will hear from myself and other guests tips on planning, mindfully creating a day that not only looks but feels good, and how to budget your way to the wedding day of your dreams. Now let's get to discussing your day, your way. Hey y'all, it's Kate back with another episode of Wedding BFF, and today I want to talk about something that I teased on Instagram, which is our CBKit. It's our CBK kit for the day. Get it? CBKit? Haha. Also called an oh shit kit, also called an emergency kit for your wedding day. And I just stocked this up, so I literally have everything like right here on my 6-foot table, just waiting for me and baiting me to get everything together for our new team members and refills for our team members returning. So anyways, I'm actively avoiding that. But I have a lot of preferences with what I have in our kits. And I do find that, you know, after every season, there is some reflection of like, what did we use? What did we not use? Like, what's something that might be taking up space that we just really don't need in our kits anymore? And kind of things along those lines, just to make sure we're using our limited fanny pack space efficiently and effectively. So I'm going to share what we have in our fanny packs and why we have it in our fanny packs. So to get started for this CBKit preview, hopefully if you are building your emergency kit for your wedding day, you can find this helpful and jot down a few notes of what you should be bringing with you, given some of the explanations from a professional wedding planner. First thing on our end, I always have a printed timeline for all of our team members, and I actually print 4 to a page of our timelines, which may seem a little silly or something, but actually it means that it's like pocket size basically, and I can fit it. I usually literally put it in between my fanny pack and my belly, right in that pocket, because then I can always access it. We have a printed timeline, and it's compressed in that 4 to a page size, just so we're able to view a lot at a glance. Okay, we have a printed diagrams if we need them. A lot of times these days I'm actually doing more digitally, so there's access to the diagrams either digitally or physically, and that's the same for like if they're using Sparkle Vintage Rentals, which is our subsidiary rental company, Sparkle Vintage. We also have like something I think we usually do a physical version. Yeah, physical version. I had to remind myself. We're getting back into the season soon. I haven't had to do this in a while. But usually we have a printed version of the Sparkle Vintage floor plan of like what look goes where, because we do 2 or 3 suites worth of looks for the tables with our rentals and go from there. Other things, just from the perspective of running a business here, everyone has their name tag. Everyone has business cards. Everyone has stickers with Celebrate by Kait stickers or freebies to give out. And then getting to like more of the utility side of our list is kind of what I like to call it. We all each have long lighters. That is plural. Everyone has more than one. You know, they can die. Something weird can happen. You can misplace it, whatever. Everyone starts the season with usually 2 or 3, and then we'll get replenished throughout, depending. Those long lighters are really great for tapered candles, and because we don't want to mess with the hurricane glass or pillar candles, just reaching places so we're not burning ourselves with like our mini lighters, which is the next item on the list. So we always have mini lighters, and you can get these from like Target or Dollar Tree or anywhere. Bic has really good ones actually. So we have our mini lighters, and I like those because if we need to make a quick adjustment, we can. And it doesn't take up a lot of space in our fanny packs. We always have those on us. The next thing is mini scissors. Oh my God, the amount of times that people need scissors. The amount of time that people need scissors. They forgot to take the, I honestly don't know the name for the thing. I need to look this up. What is the thing on the back of the coat? Oh my God, this is like an IG live or something. Stitch back of coat men. Back seam? Is that what it's called? Tacking stitch. Okay, you guys know what I mean. It's at the back. Anyways, I've had to cut that like within 2 seconds of a father-daughter first look before because Father FOB forgot. We use it to trim wicks if we need to. Sometimes wicks get a little out of control if they haven't been trimmed, say by another vendor. We trim all of our wicks, but say it hadn't been trimmed, like we'll blow the candle out, trim it, and relight it. We use it for like packaging. If we're getting something fresh out of a box, which I don't prefer, but sometimes that does happen, then we are gonna just use our scissors to get on in there and not hurt ourselves. There's a million applications for scissors. It is by far top 5, if not top 3 item that we use the most. All right, so floral pins is another thing that is on our list. Here is an example. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're on the pod, obviously you can't see this, but they are used to help affix boutonnieres. They're used to actually usually upward or, well, there's a variety of styles. I'm not a florist, but to keep the bouquet wrapped and in the right shape as well, among other floral tools. So we like to have those on hand just in case. Again, a boutonniere fell off or something, or if something's becoming unraveled, like the ribbon's becoming unraveled on the bouquet, we just like to make sure we have some insurance on that. We always have a sewing kit. There have been definitely emergencies that come up. That's probably like a top 10 item. So we have all kinds of colors of thread, and, we have needles, and there's some safety pins in our sewing kit as well, but we actually have a whole separate section for that. We always have washcloths, okay? So a lot of people, or a lot of, early on in Celebrate by Kate's history, it was a lot of chiffon dresses. And if those chiffon dresses are wet, we don't want to walk down the aisle. It is super noticeable. We always have a washcloth on us. Number one, just because it's a good thing to have on us, I always personally get it into the band part of the fanny pack, just so I always can whip it out like Superwoman. We use it to wipe down the stems of bouquets once they've come out of vases, so that it's not getting on that chiffon, it's not getting on that silk, it's not getting on the whatever fabric, the bridesmaid's dresses, and most importantly, usually the bride's dress too. So that is one thing that we like to do. And, you can never have too many washcloths. So I set my team up with 3 to start and then replenish as the season goes on, because we usually lose them at some point. Okay, the other thing is a Sharpie. If we need to label anything, if we need anything to stay, just have that staying power, basically, we're going to use a Sharpie for it. We also have legitimate super glue with us. We have super glue because shit happens. I don't have a better way to say that, but if we need to try to, God forbid, glue a heel back together or glue something back together, make it look like it used to, we have super glue. I don't like the texture of super glue, so that's my last resort usually. Adhesive foam. So we have these fantastic rolls of adhesive foam, and you're probably thinking, what in the hell are you doing with adhesive foam? Well, let me tell you, there's actually a lot of instances with outdoor ceremonies where reserve signs, depending on what material they're made of, they just don't want to stay. It's windy. You're outside. Doesn't matter how much wind you have, usually it's going to move things around a little bit. So securing those either with the adhesive foam, or we love zip ties too, but sometimes that's not feasible depending on the design or the shape. So we like adhesive foam to make things stick that are not sticking. And so they're just these tiny pieces of foam that are adhesive on both sides and have helped us out with a lot of sticky situations, basically. Pun, I didn't mean to do that. All right, let's go on to the beauty side of things. So on the beauty side of our CBKit, we have compacts that also are hairbrushes. I'm not gonna lie, the hairbrush never gets used. That was a rookie thing that I implemented, but I just feel like having a compact is so important if someone wants to check lip color or whatever. So I keep it in the mix for that reason. Just quick check, right? Or if they need to apply the lip color live, whatever. We always have fashion tape. You gotta take care of the girls, you know what I mean? A lot of times that isn't in the bride's kit already, but we like to have it on hand for the reason that maybe it's not around, or the reason that literally anything can happen. Okay, mints. I'm a Tic Tac girl. I will be handing those out like candy right before the ceremony because you probably want your breath to smell great, right? Usually I'm like, Tic Tac, Tic Tac. I feel like I'm just, I don't know, like I'm a concession stand or something. But I have those available anytime just in case anyone's breath conscious and wants to freshen up. Lint rollers are so key, you guys. Everyone knows what a lint roller is, but we need to get hair off of things. Ladies, if you have long hair, get it off of things. We need to get it off of suits. If the flowers I don't even know. There's so many things that can get on suits and dresses. So it just provides that extra layer of insurance. And I'm not thinking of like the really good example right now, but I think you understand the necessity to look sharp. We always have hair ties. That's honestly one thing that we never get asked for, really. But if the bride wants a party pony at some point and she's on the dance floor, like you bet I'm going to have that ready for her. Hand sanitizer for obvious reasons. We are touching so many millions of things. So between us and the client, I think it's just a good safety precaution to have, especially in a post-COVID world too. Deodorant, that's another between us and the client kind of thing. Like everyone's sweating a lot. So we can just, freshen up a little bit once again. That's not a bad thing. Shout wipes are my favorite. So much I just sang it. So shout wipes are the bomb. I love shout wipes. We actually get the off-brand ones, but they come in these like little packs and they have so much just packed into this one wipe that they have. It's pretty wild in my opinion. They're very concentrated, but stains happen and that's our go-to for any stains. Band-aids, anything can happen. So we always have Band-aids, especially if it's like, something with your shoe, you didn't break in your shoes and they're rubbing and blistering and bleeding or whatever. Like, let's try to avoid that, shall we? Tissues. Oh my God. I usually hand these out, my team and I, we usually hand these out to like the first or second row at a wedding because it's usually the immediate family and they are the ones who are going to cry. And then we make sure the groom has it usually and we kind of go from there. But tissues are so key. We always have a ton of those. Safety pins are something that's in our sewing kits, but we actually have a variety of sizes in our kits as well of other ones so that they can fit different needs. And I found the ones in the sewing kit left some room to be desired quality-wise. So those are like our backup safety pins, if you will. One thing I've considered leaving out of the kit, but is currently in the kit, are flossers. So literally like whether it's the stick type ones that just go in between, or they're like kind of like brushes, almost like what you would use to clean like a straw, or they're the actual flossers with like the piece of floss in between in the U shape. We have those just in case. And then moving on to like the more health, taking care of yourself side of things. We always have tampons on us. We currently are a team of all women, so I look at it as insurance for both sides if they need it. And, I have gotten asked, do you have a tampon? Many, many, many times. So we always have those. We always have ibuprofen, whether your feet hurt, your head hurt, whatever. We usually like to have like a liquid IV substitute for hydration as well, because sometimes, it's not even like drinking too much. Sometimes I've just had people hungover before the day of the wedding from the rehearsal dinner, just being too much of a blast. I've handed that out for that reason. Or, if someone's just not drinking enough water and they need to hydrate quickly, we have something like that. And that's just from like a safety perspective. And lastly, for health, we always have Tums. I love Tums so much. I think it's a miracle worker. So we always have that. And with the nature of wedding days, like the nerves and everything, if you have a nervous stomach, it's probably not a bad idea to take it. In terms of we always have our magical bin, I kind of call it, which is where all the extras go. So we always have on us, actually outside of that bin, we always have 2 bouquet vases. I found over the years that most florists will provide bouquet vases, which is fantastic, but there is always the chance that they won't. So then I like to be prepared just in case, at least really just for the bride's perspective. I like to make sure that we have a vase for her bouquet if we need it. If something God forbid they leave the box right in the hotel suite or something like that has the vase in it, but she has the flowers, it's just insurance so that we can, bridal bouquets are $350. They're, that's on the higher end, but they're expensive. So I want to make sure that we can at least display that somewhere in one of our vases if we need to. And this is very much an insurance policy situation, but would be a good idea to have a vase in your kit. We always have Windex or a multi-surface cleaner with us. There is so much glassware, there are mirrors, there's everything like that just sometimes needs a little spiffing up. So that's helpful. I put them in like tiny little spray bottles for our team so that they're super portable. And then we can just, wipe and go. We all have candle snuffers. If you're not familiar, those are those like little magical things that people use to extinguish candles. And I haven't seen one in so long, but now our team has them. So like we're not like constantly blowing out candles, especially like when they're like deeper into a vessel, like a pillar candle, they're actually kind of really hard to blow out. And I don't really need wax getting on any of my team members. So we have our candle snuffers for that reason. We also have, this is like the random part, by the way, that I'm talking through. We also have envelopes. I have tiny envelopes that fit into our fanny packs. They're not the long, like legal size ones. For tips, in case our client doesn't have anything for their tips, we at least can provide some envelopes for them or whatever needs to be done in that regard. We're almost always handing out tips to vendors. So that is important to have those. There's 2 other things I added to the list recently, actually. One of which is, I mentioned the zip ties. Those can like help with neon signs and various things, keeping those down. So zip ties can just like come in handy in so many circumstances. But also the last thing would be like a magic eraser or the off-brand of a magic eraser. That actually I got a tip actually from someone who used to work in luxury retail that can help on any like white fabric stain if you use a little bit of water and kind of press and rub gently, keyword gently, to get something out. Because the bottom of dresses usually, the ground wreaks havoc, the world wreaks havoc on them just because they're walking in a ball gown on the streets of Chicago, but can help with like some of those little dirt marks. Those are inevitable. I'm looking at my items on my table here and my checklist in front of me, and that is the magic of the CBKit. So if you are creating your emergency day kit, highly recommend looking into some of these items. If I were to list like the top 5, scissors is number 1, sewing kit is number 2. Oh, I forgot to mention bobby pins and hairspray. That's important. Bobby pins would literally be number 3. Tissues would be number 4. Oh no, maybe I'm gonna do a top 7. Okay, maybe I can do this. The last one would probably be shower wipes. Yeah. Oh, they're all so valuable. But I think that's like outside of that in terms of like personal health and well-being, those are great items. And then you have to have long and short lighters. That's just, unless your florist is taking care of it. But that's another item in terms of like decor, depending on the scope of what you're doing. So I hope you found this helpful, kind of removing the veil here on what a professional wedding planner uses in her kit and with her team's kit. Thanks for listening to Wedding BFF. We'll talk soon, I'm sure.
Thanks for listening. I'm thrilled that you joined us today. Feel free to check out CBK on Instagram at Celebrate by Kait, spelled CELEBRAIT, by, and my name Kait, Kait, as well as various other online channels where we share our sparkle with the world. Thanks again for joining your Wedding BFF. Cheers to your day, your way.